a little bit harder, but it's not hard. Okay, so when we think about this project, what are the things that are going to be, that you're going to need and want out of this project? What would signify success? What are the things you're going to need and want out of this project?
Kudos and payment.
Okay, so you want to get paid. Yep. And kudos. So but it's sort of reputation, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's your reputation enhanced. The client, so the client, I guess, being, you're talking to them here. So what do they want out of this?
Oh, we want other things out of the projects as well,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. So what does the client want? So we're now talking to you. You're the client. What do you want out of this?
Return on investment.
Yep. So it's all around the money side. So we've got money here, return on investment.
Compliant building.
Low maintenance.
Yeah. Happy staff. No callbacks. Ergonomic.
Oh, now, go, man, couldn't get you talking before, now you go all talking at once. So we've got return on investment, client, happy staff,
Fit for purpose.
yeah, fit for purpose,
That's always the problem.
Future proofing.
so we had low maintenance,
Good design.
Ease of maintenance.
future proof, so on time, budget. Okay, so, yeah, so we've got efficiency rating, that sort of thing, energy, performance, KPIs, that sort of thing. What else?
Aesthetically pleasing.
Yep.
What's on your list, Frank? We haven't covered. Your left sleeve.
Yeah, so you had compliant, meeting codes, that sort of thing. Is there anything else? That's pretty good. So you did right, I had a list, right? And what that again does is it takes the heat off me. I'm not even to think on the spot while I'm doing this. I've done the thinking before I came in. You guys come up with it. Next time I do an accountant's, an architect's one, we're away laughing because I've done one, yeah. You know, so I've done roading projects, so I know all their ones. You know, I've done building projects for clients, I know all their ones. I've done plenty of procurement projects, I know all their ones. So,
Can I just say something?
Yep.
So the danger here would be, you go, oh, I already know what to do. I'll tell you what, I'll put all the stuff in a document for you and give it to you to have a look at.
There's got to be engaged. There's
Yeah,
got to be
yeah.
engagement and ownership
There's,
with the process.
there's, you could almost write all this up. You probably, But no, stop, slow down, be the consultant, draw it out from them, even if you already know the answers, charge them $1,000 for it, because they will have their own nuances for it. But if you just go, I already know what you want, there you go, that's the whole problem that's why you give it away for free. Slow down, consult, do the diagnosis properly. It might be 25% different from what the last guy wanted. Do it, charge them for it, they'll appreciate it, they'll enjoy it more.
yeah, it's a good point. And not only that though, A, you're engaging them, but B, what have I done so far? I've just put your ideas up on the board, right? I was checking to see if you had them. And there's one that's missing. And it's to do with the design and future-proof. It's what might come around there, do you think?
Resale.
Sustainable.
There could be sustainable, yes, so that sort of goes with these ones.
Legal?
That goes with this one, right, legal, yeah. But there's another whole thing in terms of design nowadays. What do you have to be thinking about all the time?
Resilience and adaptability.
Life
Yeah.
cycle.
Adaptability, yeah, so that's future-proof, adaptable. What about technology? You know, that all the technological stuff's designed for and all that sort of stuff, isn't it? You know, so, like even homes and that, you want them wired, don't you?
Yeah.
Technology, yep. You don't have to be able to spell to do this. Okay, so how do I facilitate that though?
You did it.
I wrote it up, but what did I write up?
Well, the answers we gave.
Everything you gave. If you said it was kudos, I wrote up kudos. If I said, oh, that's about reputation as well, I said, is it okay if I call it reputation? I sought your permission. Why did I do that?
You have to own the idea.
You have to own the idea, but what if you'd written up kudos and I said, oh, what a dumb idea that is. Rub that out.
You're
And
going
you'd
to
have
give me more
said, yeah,
feedback.
well, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. And throw
He
the
doesn't
toy-
want my ideas.
Can
so I'm
throw
not
the
playing
toys
it.
out of the cot.
Throw the toys out of the cot. You imagine doing this with a couple and they're pouring out their heart's desires and you go, what a load of crap that was. They'd go,
But I mean, professionally, we have to be very sensitive to that because we're dealing with people's hopes, dreams, and their
exactly.
entire
Yep.
bloody livelihoods. a lot
Yeah,
of the
so,
time, you know?
so the guideline for that is write it up. Even if you don't quite agree with it, write it up and then you can tweak it later, but with their permission. Doing it on the whiteboard, I've done something, and I'll just start changing a wee bit of this now.
Ah.
Frank, just while you're doing that,
Yep.
what's your view around, if you've got multiple stakeholders across lots of different groups, and,
Yep.
and there's a trend at the moment going to, using online, like Monkey, Survey Monkey and that sort of thing to try
Yeah.
and gather this sort of information. What's your view
No,
on using that as a tool?
no. There are online tools for doing everything I've done, and I've gone the opposite to everyone else. I've gone low tech. You're a bunch of blokes here today, so blokes don't normally like entering into online stuff and that, but they do like tactile. They do like getting on their feet. They do like having bits and pieces of paper in their hands. And so, but the other answer to that question, Dion, is that this engages them all, A, quickly, but B, all together. And so we can then come around afterwards. So we've got photos of them doing them, great for your website.
That is good for the website.
Bang.
And it is something different. Everyone else has got
Bang,
nice building, nice building, nice building.
yeah,
If you've got pictures of you facilitating workshops and people actively engaged and all that, bang,
Yep.
you look like a consultant as opposed to every other architect who's showing up nice buildings.
yep. So that's also why, two things, why I got you all to use a pen like that. So when you take the photos, you can read them later. So if you lose these, you've got a backup in your photo. If you've done it in Biro, you can't read that. While you were doing this, I tried grouping them to the best of my ability while you were actually calling them out, because that'll make my job easier in a minute. And so,
Connections.
yep, so this sort of, all this stuff here is all about design. It's about easy, low maintenance, sustainable, energy efficient, da, 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 da. And there might be sort of elements of that we might split out later, I don't know. This one's about, sort of the reputation. So even if that's your client, that's still important. This was talking about ourselves here, but their reputation, that they do this project, that their reputation is, man, did you see what those guys in Wanganui did? They delivered it on time. What a beautiful building. It's really usable. It's really looks nice. Man, got some star ratings for energy efficiency, all that sort of thing, right? So that's the building owner's reputation going up, and your reputation as the architect going up. These are sort of financials, but making sure it's on budget and on time. They're going to come up every time. Making sure it's compliant is going to come up every time. And if it doesn't, you can prompt it. All right. So now I've grouped them. So we brainstormed them. That was step one. Group them. That's step two. And if you look in these notes here, that's what I'm doing here. So I'm now doing these bits. So now what we do is we say, okay, which of these is a need? And before we leap into action, what are we doing this part for? We can use this part here, the needs and wants analysis, is to help us make decisions further down the track. So if we're going, well, do we go this way, or do we go that way? This will help you with that decision-making process, because we're going to come up with something here that has the ones that are absolutely mandatory, they're your needs, and then the ones that are nice to have, even though they might be really nice to have, they're your wants, but they'll be ranked. So not all wants are created equal. So I'll show you how to do that next. But that's what we're aiming for, is a decision-making tool. So when you're with the client and you come in and have this initial discussion with them, and they're saying, hey, well, this is what's really important to me, then your concept design is more likely to be on the money than if you've just gone and had some waffly sort of discussion with them. Because you can focus them on what's really important, right? Okay, so a need is mandatory. So therefore, if something doesn't meet that, it's out. So are there any things in there that are mandatory?
Compliance.
I would suggest that one is, yes.
Fit for purpose.
Okay, fit for purpose, yes. If you had two designs and one was really fit for purpose and the other was not bad but not quite as good, which one would you go with?
But a whole lot cheaper.
But I think
Yeah, but just take everything else out for the time being, because I guess fit for purpose is it's a bit subjective.
if so we do sports facilities, and
Yep.
so this comes up all the time for us,
Yep.
and it's not only linked to the capital cost, but also the ongoing
Yes.
operational costs that are tied up with the
You can-
facility.
And that's a good point. So you can go and add things to it, because you'll have the capital cost, but you're also going to have OPEX as well, aren't you? Operating costs. So it's that balance between the two. So if you said meeting the budget is mandatory, that might be okay for your particular case. But if it means that you're going to go over time to make sure that happens, that might not be okay. So it depends on your particular case here. So meeting the budget might be mandatory, and it might be okay. So we can, for this instance, make it mandatory if you like. But you do have to be really careful about that.
Most clients would probably say it was mandatory, wouldn't it?
Meeting budget.
Yeah.
With some government departments and that, they say, well, that's the budget, you know, there is no more money.
Yes.
You,
So what if then you came down to, well, okay, we can do that, but it won't be compliant. It'll meet budget.
yeah, and they say take something out of it.
Yeah.
Chop that bit off.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Find another budget.
Okay, so for your project, we're going to have that as a need. Okay, that's cool. Are there any others? That's probably about it for this one. So what we've done is we've done the brainstorming bit, we've done the group the ideas bit, we've worked out the needs. Now what we've got to do is come up with the rest of wants. And so what I try and do then is I try and sort of group them as much as I can. This future-proof part, that sort of all goes around here, because that's technology, adaptable. Then we've got this whole sort of aesthetically pleasing bit. And then we've got the whole performance bit, efficiency, energy rating, sustainable, they all sort of go together, don't they? And then we've got low maintenance. So that's sort of not bad groups now. So that's all about performance of the actual design, that's about what it looks like, that's about future-proof. We've got time budget, well, we've already locked down the budget one. Compliant, we've locked that down, and we've got this whole fit for purpose thing. So if you're going to choose one of those, what would it be? So that's the key phrase now. If you could only choose one of those, what would it be? See, this is a little bit that's dynamic. This will change every time you do this. These, the weightings and where they fit. That's why you can't just give them a report. Okay, this bit changes every time. What's up there will largely be the same. Where they fit will be different. So if you could only change, if you're going to choose one of those, what would it be?
Well,
Yeah.
there's a commercial building, maybe, will you,
Yeah,
what do you do your capex?
Return on investment.
Return on investment.
Yeah, but that's already taken care of in our needs.
Oh, that's it.
So we've
Yeah.
locked those ones down. The budget and the return on investment, they're locked down.
Right.
Fit for purpose is a subset of compliant, really, isn't it?
Not necessarily, because it might be compliant, but an absolute dog in terms of what you want it for.
Yeah.
True.
You know, there might be a compliance swimming pool, but it's 24 metres long, so it's useless.
Like the one in Dargaville, 4 inches too short.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, so can we put that?
Yeah.
So out of 10, we'll give that a 10, is that okay?
Yep.
All right, what will come next? So now we've got low maintenance, we've got on time, we've got
Good.
performance, nice to look at, future proof. What would come next?
It depends the client's priorities, but
If
some-
you are the
some-
client in this case,
Yeah.
and if
Yeah.
what you do in these two, you have a decision maker. Theon's the decision maker today.
Right.
So if we have a jump ball, we say, hey, Theon, what do you think? If
Dion, make the decision while Richard's out the room.
So we've got fit for purposes number one, then what would come next? Where you feel, Dion? Where you feel?
Well, I'd turn to Bruce, you know, what's most important to you in your department? Maybe, yeah.
I think for us, being on time
All right.
Yeah.
I'll just
Okay.
is our.
All right, so if we had that, what would come after that?
Yeah, future proofing.
Yep, future proofing, nice to look at, efficient. So if we gave that an 8, what would come after that? So we've got low maintenance.
Energy
Yeah,
efficient.
you want to
Yeah.
yeah, you want to
Yeah, all those,
So if we had that,
and the design aspects.
what would come after that? So energy efficient and all that sort of stuff. So then we've got nice to look at, low maintenance. What's
That's
next?
good.
Yeah.
I think next.
Look.
Aesthetic, yeah, aesthetic and environmental.
All right. So your job's done.
Maintenance, like,
So then you just get your trusty photo camera out, take a photo of that before we look, lose it. And so, you see how now when you're making decisions, now when you're coming back with a design, you've got a feel for it, for these guys, the concept design. You know, well, okay, it's got to be cost effective, it's got to be fit for purpose. But they're really keen on the whole future-proof thing, so, you know, ease of changing things later on, ease of changing, you know, so we could, you know, make it into a car park if we needed to, that sort of thing, you know. This is a fundamental decision-making tool. This is a fundamental decision-making technique. So what else could you use that for in business? Besides these discussions with clients, what else could you use that for in business?
Trying to work out which marketing initiative you want to roll out.
Yeah, exactly. What about who's ever recruited staff?
Sure.
So I was helping a client recruit a project manager champion for a council. So I did this exercise, 15 minutes on a sheet of whiteboard paper on the desk. Then I wrote like a mini tender document for the applicants to respond into. You know, show us where you've got project management experience in the public sector, but in particular in local government. Show us 3 projects where you've done that. Show us how you do risk assessment. Show us 3 examples of that. So when we got stuff back, it was actually really targeted and really focused, and we just did this process, and we picked a really good couple of guys and interviewed 3 of them, chose one out of that, re-scored it, chose one, bang, they're in for an interview with the senior leadership team. This is a very transportable technique.